What up, cousin Paulie? Handle your business, brother. Thanks for stopping in and saying hello, though. Appreciate it. I don't know who we got here so far. Sorry, I'm tapping in late. I have a problem with the Wi-Fi. I had to check the password and all that again. So, anyways, ain't got nobody here yet. I'll wait a couple of minutes and then I'll just go ahead and start, regardless if there's people here or not, and then we'll go from there. Because people always have the option to come back and watch it. Cool, Yankees for life. There you go. Uh, Perfect, because we're going to talk a little bit about the Yankees, matter of fact, and some of the history that's going to be made by a couple individuals that I really want to speak about. A third person I want to talk about who's still playing, who is part of history, and also I want to talk about some old school players from that came out in the mid '80s, and then also old school players from the '60s, '50s. Probably just stay on about an hour, 45 minutes, because I know some other shows are coming on shortly. And so I'm not gonna hurry. I'm gonna take my time. I got my period. I got my time period. If you got to take off, you got to take off. But I'm, I'm doing my thing because people could come back and watch it, whatever. You know what I mean? But anyways, what is it? 3:36. I'm gonna wait like 2 minutes. Yeah, I see your smiley face there. I'm gonna wait like 2 minutes and then I'm gonna get into it. As you guys know, Aaron Judd, New York Yankee. Aaron Judd is from the area where I live at, where I've spent most of my majority of my life. He's from the same county, not too far from here. I want to say maybe 10 miles southeast of here. He's a monster, right? Big kid, big youngster. Well, he's been in the league a little bit. No, I know you're joking. I'm taking it easy. Believe that. Well, I'm cool, calm, and collected, player. You know what I mean? Anyways, sorry about that. So, um, well, he's been in the league now, what, about 5 years, maybe a little bit longer. I'm not sure about it. Yeah, he might be. Yeah, so I titled it, "Let's Talk Some History That's Going to Be Made Shortly" by Aaron Judd and Albert. I don't know what happened, Yanks. I didn't even touch nothing. I got my hands on the outside of the phone. I'm not even touching the phone, and it just kicked me off. That ghost, man, he don't leave us alone. But anyways, I titled the video, "Let's Talk About Some History That's Going to Be Made Shortly Here." And so there's two individuals that I got in the title, Albert Pujols and Aaron Judd. So as everybody knows that are Yankee fans that are from the East, because there's a lot of people that are involved with our channels that are from, New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, out that way. What up, Famero Pujols? And so you guys know what's going on. So Aaron Judd has currently 60 home runs, right? He currently has 60 home runs. So he just tied, when he hit the 60, he tied Babe Ruth, who Babe Ruth, I believe, hit that 60 in 19. I was going to say 54, but there's no way it was 1954. It was sometime way back, because by the 50s already Mickey Mantle was playing already for the Yanks. So it wasn't 54. Oh, I know why I was thinking 54, because he did it, I believe, in 154 games, 60 home runs he hit. Then in 1961, Roger Maris hit 61 home runs in 1961, and that was the record all the way up until uh, McGwire and Sosa were battling for the home run record, single season record back in 1998. And McGwire ended up finishing with 73, and Sosa was 66. Now, since I brought up those two guys, Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire, Mark McGwire has hit 65 home runs or more twice. He hit 65 once and he hit 70 once. Sosa's done it 3 times. He hit 66 in 98, and then he hit, I believe, 62 and 63 and 64, I believe it was, or 62 and 63. I don't remember what years those were. And then 3 years later, Barry Bonds broke the 70 with 73. He broke McGwire's single season record of 70 by hitting 73. And as we know, Barry Bonds is the all-time leader in home runs with 762, 7 more than Hammer and Hank Aaron with 755. I've been tapping in here a lot more lately. Too much tactics and drama on the YouTube. We are that big. Oh yeah, I stay out the BS here at Big What to Do with Big Lou, and then also at the No Fly Zone. We don't promote the drama, especially calling other men bitches and punks and rats and rats and chomos and sex offenders without paperwork. That's always a no-no in my book. I'm highly against that. I'm also highly against calling somebody else a bitch or a punk, especially on the screen, because that's straight up fighting words and could lead to worse shit. Who knows? But at least fighting. You got to give that man. You're gonna call that man a bitch. You got to give him, straight up. You got to give him the, if you want to get it, you got to give him the chance to, get it, from the shoulders. You can't be from, I am in Northern Cali and I'm calling some dude in fucking, I don't know, Texas or, in Chicago. I'm calling him a bitch. Why? Why would I do that? It's just like us being in a cell. If Farmetto, we're schooled the same way. We don't do that. That's a no-no. Highly no-no. You don't do that. You don't call no. There's no. It's cell soldier shit, and now it's modern day keyboard warrior. That's what I call it. It's got to the point now where guys will call guys out and tell them, "Hey, come to my live stream, man, and face me like a man." Like, whoa, that don't even make sense. But yeah, you're right. We stay out the mix. Exactly. Straight. If you call someone a bitch, you better be ready to get your money. Exactly. So I don't do it. I don't do it because it's something that I was schooled as a youngster, and it stays with me. A lot of things stay with me that I was schooled and taught as a youngster. I just don't do it. So anyways, I like Barry Bonds, but I wish he'd take roids. What do you mean? You wish he didn't take roids? And that's the fucked up thing about it when it comes to Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens and some other guys. They haven't even been like caught as far as like a USADA dirty test or anything, But you got guys like Manny Ramirez and A-Rod and that's been caught, a few times. Bartolo Colon. It's a lot of the Latino players that do it. They indulge in it. Aaron Judd has already made Yankee history by tying Babe Ruth with 60. So there's only been 3 guys that wear a Yankee uniform to hit 60 home runs. It's been Babe Ruth. Okay, yeah, you wish he didn't take it. Okay. Babe Ruth first hit the 60, right? It's the curse of the Bambino. Remember, I don't know if some of you guys don't know, people that watch this later on, this video, Babe Ruth was a pitcher for the Red Sox originally, and then they traded him to the Yanks, and then the rest is history. 714 home runs later, he was the home run king for a long while, until Henry Aaron broke his record in sometime in the 70s. I think it was 70. I believe it was 70 when he hit 715. Probably was like 70, sometime in the 70s, early 70s. And then Roger Maris, like I said, Roger Maris came along in 1961 and hit the 61. So from 1961 to today, how many years is that? That's what, 61 years. That's a trip. So 1961, Roger Maris hits 61 home runs, and now 61 years later, another Yankee comes along and is gonna tie it or break it. Wow, that's a common number right there, 61. So yeah, Aaron Judd is whatever he ends up doing. You know, as soon as he hits 61, he, like I said, he already made history already by tying Babe Ruth, and now he's for surely gonna tie Maris. Now, how much further he gets past 61, that's obviously up to him, or what they, well, maybe not so much up to him, but what the pitchers give him, right? Because all teams could say, you know what, the heck with him, we ain't pitching to him no more, like they used to do with Barry Bonds. They used to walk a lot. They used to walk him intentionally, not, you know, the catcher would stand off to the side and catch 5 balls and walk him. I'd rather do that than give him home runs. So we'll see what happens with Aaron Judd. Then again, too, you guys got to keep in mind Barry Bonds wasn't a fan favorite or media favorite, fan favorite. A lot of teammates, you guys remember, but he grabbed Jeff Kent by the throat in the dugout. You know, so probably a lot of people didn't dig his style, and that's more the reason why they really didn't mind walking him intentionally. They're using different baseball today. What do you mean by that? Elaborate. What's up, Westies? Elaborate, Yanks, what you mean by that? They're using different baseball today? You mean like you're talking about the baseball itself, or are you talking about baseball as in like the managers doing different techniques and things? What you mean? I think you mean the baseball, but so yeah, so Aaron Judd is a beast, right? I know he's already hit 50, I think, once already, high 40s already. You also got okay, the baseballs, yes, okay. So what? The ones nowadays, are they lighter? Are they heavier? What's the deal with them? Because I'm not aware. And then also I want to speak about Albert Pujols. Albert Pujols right now has 698 home runs. He needs 2 more to hit 700. There's only 3 guys as of right now that have 700 or more home runs. And I already mentioned 3 of them. Barry Bonds won with 762, right? Then you got Hank Aaron with 755, and then you got the Babe with 714. So Pujols is gonna, like I said, he's 2 off of 700. And then if you just look at guys that hit 600 or more home runs, there's only the 4 that I just mentioned: Bonds, Aaron, Babe Ruth, Pujols. A-Rod has 696. Willie Mays 660. You got Sammy Sosa. What does he got? 609, I think it is. Jim Thome has 612, and then Ken Griffey has 630, I think it is. So those are all the guys that hit 600 or more home runs. So it's a big feature either way you look at it. It's a big feature. You know, I gotta do something. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna still talk, but I'm gonna turn the camera off for a second. So he's a big shout out to the Chapo Joe from iTalk. If they only knew, he made this avatar for me and sent it to me. So it's a big 2 big time accomplishments these 2 guys are about to cross over. And then also, if you guys ain't aware, my first Major League Baseball game was at Kevin Millwood no-hitter in 2002 at Veterans Stadium for the Phillies. Nice. That's what's up. Also, the last time from 1967, and then it was finally done again in 2012, but it hasn't been done since. So in the last 50 plus years, so that's what, 55 years? In the last 55 years, there's only been 1 player to get the Triple Crown, which was Miguel Cabrera in 2012. So for anybody that here, I'm pretty sure everybody here knows, but anybody that ends up coming back and watching this video later on, A triple crown means you led the league in batting average, you led the league in home runs, and you led the league in RBIs. And the last to do it before Miguel Cabrera did it was, does anybody know? Yankees for life, the Westies. You guys know who did that in 1967? Shout out. This goes out. This question's dedicated or go dedicated, whatever word you want to use. It goes out to Drew Ha. Drew Ha is a big fan of this team. It's the arch enemies, nemesis of the Yankees from Boston, right? Carl Yastrzemski was the last one to have the Triple Crown in 1967. So from 67 to 2012, which is what, 45 years, Miguel Cabrera did it. And another thing, Miguel Cabrera, he has over 500 home runs, and I believe he's already has 3,000 hits. He's Venezuelan. He's not Puerto Rican. He's not Dominican. He's not Cuban. He's Venezuelan, and you know, it's the first Venezuelan to capture numbers such as, you know, let's see. Yeah, he already has over 3,000 hits, 3,081 hits, and he has over 500 home runs. And then, like I said, he won the Triple Crown in 2012. Same year, the Giants beat him in the World Series and left him. I believe the game ended with him striking out, looking, not even swinging, looking. I always remember growing up playing baseball, they always would say, yeah, there you go, Yanks. You know, your coach would always say, never sit on the pitch, you know, swing, especially with 2 strikes, because you don't want to be called, you know, 3 strikes, you're out on the 3rd strike, just sitting in the batter's box. You know what I mean? So since we're talking about this, so when I was growing up, the home run list for me when I was growing up, and I know some of you guys maybe some of you guys are a little bit older than me, and anybody that'll come back and watch this video later, they used to have the home run derby on TV, and I used to watch that when I go to my dad's. He put it on for me, and I always remember, you know, Rocky Colavito. Excuse me. I think Duke Snyder used to come on there. Hank Aaron would be on there. I think I even see Frank Robinson on there, but I don't ever remember seeing Mickey Mantle or Willie Mays on there for some reason. I don't know if they're just at that time when Home Run Derby came out, their status was just too high to bring them on there. Maybe, I don't know, but if you look at the end of the careers, you know, Hank Aaron had more home runs. He was the home run king for many years until Bonds broke it. And Frank Robinson finished with 586. Rocky Colavito didn't have as many home runs. He was more in the threes. But at the time, he was smacking them out. Anybody here remember that? I like the old derby. Yes, Yankees. You remember that? So when I was growing up, the home run list, I had it down. So at the back in the day, it was Hank Aaron with 755, Babe Ruth was 714. They were the only 2 with 700 or more. Willie Mays was the only one that had in the 600s. He was 3rd all time at that time with 660. 4th was Frank Robinson with 586. 5th was Harmon Killebrew with 573, and then you had Reggie Jackson with 563. Then you had Mike Schmidt ended up coming in and finishing with 548. Right. Then you had let's see, Mike Schmidt 548, and then you had Mickey Mantle with 536, Jimmy Fox with 534. Ted Williams and Willie McCovey with 521. 521, and I think next was Ernie Banks with 512, and then it was let's see, 511 was Mel Lott. No, excuse me, let me take that back. 512, I believe, was Ernie Banks and Eddie Matthews, and then 5'11" was Mel Ott, and then I remember Eddie Murray cracking the 500. They didn't make the Derby with the hype like they do today. Nah, nah. But today the home run derby is part of the All Star weekend. Back then it was just a TV show. Home run derby. They didn't do it with the All Star game. But it's a big difference though. Like you were talking about earlier, the steroids. Back then you had just average men that were just they had some power. They could knock that ball out the park. It wasn't so much now where how Mark McGwire and Sosa had these big old forearms and then Barry Bonds as well. He put on the I'm not sure exactly how much he put on, but from his Pittsburgh Pirates days. I don't know what happened. Kicked me off again. I did like it when Boomer did the telecast with the Derby. I can't hear you. Yeah. I don't even know what you guys heard last. What I said. I think I was talking about Mark McGwire or no, yeah, Barry Bonds bulking up and all the Latin players that were involved with the steroids. Either caught or suspected. And that you got Juan Gonzalez, you got Ivan Rodriguez, you got Bartolo Colon, you got Sammy Sosa, Manny Ramirez, Alex Rodriguez. Uh, the list goes on and on. That they suspect, if they weren't caught, they suspect were involved. Uh, so I had mentioned this before. 1986, that was a rookie season for Barry Bonds, for Bobby Bonilla, for Jose Canseco, for Andres Galarraga, for Kevin Mitchell. They all came out that year, 1986, considered the rookie season. A lot of guys, especially the old timers, they look down on this. Like if you ask Hank Aaron, if he believes, well, he's passed now, but if you ask Hank Aaron about, what he believes about Barry Bonds and all that, he's not, he's going to tell you straight up what he thinks. He believes he don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, which he's not yet. But I don't believe the steroids helps you with your hand-eye coordination. Yeah, it helps you with the maybe the power to put it out of the park. Not maybe, I think it does on that. I don't think, but if you go back to Barry Bonds' numbers, he already had Hall of Fame numbers. The way his numbers were going, his first so many years in Pittsburgh, 86 to 90. I think he went to the Giants in 93. Those first 7 years, he was smacking out 30 home runs, 33 home runs, 24 home runs. He was going to have Hall of Fame numbers. Some say maybe put a like a ask. How do you say that? Askren or Asker or something like that by their name, meaning that they were involved with steroid use. Los Angeles in the house. Orale, just chilling. What's happening, homie? But yeah. So uh, those guys, uh, some of the old timers that were OGs in baseball already when I was watching, when I started really getting into baseball as a youngster, was like Dale Murphy, Dave Winfield, Mike Schmidt, Andre Dawson, Dave Parker, Darrell Evans, Dwight Evans, Jim Rice, Jack Clark, uh, let's see, Willie Randolph, Willie Wilson, George Brett, Ozzie Smith. I want to say Ron Say and Steve Garvey and them guys were just about out with the Dodgers. And, came in Pedro Guerrero, Steve Sachs, those guys. The Yankees back then, when I started watching baseball, I had Ricky Henderson, Dave Winfield, like I mentioned, Steve Sachs, Don Mattingly, Ron Guidry, Dave Righetti, Tommy John. A lot of guys were, at that time, I remember, what was that, 87? I think it was 87. You had Andre Dawson finished with like 47 home runs, I think it was, and George Bell had like 49. Del Murphy, like I mentioned, he smacked out. Also, Will Clark. I already mentioned Jack Clark. He was at the Cardinals by then, but he was with the Giants at one time, as well as Darrell Evans. A little bit before my time, before I started watching, but I know of it early 80s. I started getting really into baseball around that 86 season, 86 season. The Giants had Rick Russo, they had Don Robinson as pitchers. You know what I mean? But a lot of the OGs, like I was mentioning, the OGs. Fish Slayer, what up, man? When I was what's up? What up? It's been a good minute. Yeah, it's been a good minute. Be sure we No Fly Zone will be back on Monday. It's official already. Nelson dropped a little clip video. We'll be back on Monday at 4:45 our time. East Coast 7:45. But yeah, I remember. So as the OGs that end up hitting that home run list, Reggie Jackson finished in 87. He finished with 563. Like I mentioned, Mike Schmidt finished with 548. Eddie Murray finished with 504. And then some of the guys that came out, like in 88, was like Ken Griffey, Gary Sheffield. They hit. Ken Griffey finished with 630. Sheffield's in the 500s somewhere. You had Jim Thome finished with 512. He came out a little bit later, but he was smacking them out. I think what helped him out a little bit was being the designated hitter instead of playing the field. Same thing with Edgar Martinez, helped him out, because he had a bad back, I believe. But then you had guys like Robin Yount, Paul Molitor, Joe Carter. Those guys were on the Brewers. Rob Deere, and then Joe Carter was on the Indians with Corey Snyder, and then he ended up going to the Blue Jays, and everybody knows he's well remembered for that home run against the Phillies. The Giants had, like I had mentioned, Will Clark earlier, and then they had Chili Davis and Jeffrey Leonard, who went off to end up signing big contracts with other teams and having a decent year or two. Then you didn't hear about them. Then you didn't hear about them no more. Candy Maldonado. They had a lot. I remember Lee Hammaker. They had Scott Garrelt, Mike Krukow, Robbie Thompson, Matt Williams came out, I think, in 88. Will Clark came out. Oh, Will Clark was one I didn't mention. He was a rookie in 86 too with Canseco and Bonds and them. No Fly Zone this Monday. Can't wait, bro. Been a minute. I thought you guys were in the county. Yeah. uh, and the Dodgers had. I already mentioned they had. Earlier I was talking about the Yankees. I mentioned Steve Sachs. No, Steve Sachs was with the Dodgers at that time. He came over to the Yankees much later. So it was originally that Dodger team. It was Steve Garvey, Ron Say, Bill Russell, Steve Yeager, right? Rick Monday, Dusty Baker. And I know I'm missing one or two. But then the Dodgers end up being after there's all those OGs end up leaving, end up being Pedro Guerrero, Mike Scioscia, uh, Steve Sachs, Mike Davis, Mickey Hatcher, and then Kirk Gibson joined them. That's when they beat us in the World Series in 1988 with that walk-off home run by Kirk Gibson when he kept going like that with his arms. Uh, Kirk Gibson was on the Tigers before that with Alan Trammell and Lou Whitaker and Jack Morris and Guillermo. Don't call me Willie Hernandez. Remember him, Fish Layer? No, I think Just Chillin's a Dodger fan, and I think obviously Yankees for life's a Yankee. Westies, I believe Westies is a Philadelphia Phillies fan. Nah, Just Chillin should be a Dodger fan. He's from LA. I believe Just Chillin's from East Los. But the Dodgers, originally from Brooklyn Dodgers. The Giants originally from New York. All our teams in the West came from back east. Most of them. The Warriors came from Philadelphia. The A's came from Philadelphia. The Raiders and the Niners are from here. The Rams are from Cleveland originally. Who else we got? The Lakers are from Indianapolis. The Clippers were from, I think they started in San Diego. Clippers, Kansas City Clippers. Was it the Kansas City Clippers? Or it could have been the Kansas City Kings. Yeah, all the teams came from the East. The only original teams are the Raiders and the Niners from here. And then we got the let's see who else was around back then. Minnesota Twins had Kirby Puckett, Gary Gaetti, Ken Herbeck. They had Frank Viola, Bert Blyleven, excuse me. Bert Saberhagen was on the Royals with George Brett, Willie Wilson, Frank White, Al McRae. He was over there with them. And Kevin Seitzer came out in 88, 87 or 88, one of those. Atlanta Braves had Dale Murphy. Let's see if I can remember. Otis Nixon, Lonnie Smith, Tom Glavine, Steve Avery, John Smoltz. Then later they got Greg Maddux later, and then Terry Pendleton came on over from the Cardinals. And Deion Sanders, what it do, Big Lou? Hope all is well. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better now, way better now. Facts over feelings. I'm in the LA traffic, big dog. When I get home, I'll tap back in if you're still on by 15 minutes. So, yeah, I should be on. I'm probably gonna. Well, yeah, 4:30. I think I'm gonna hop off. 4:30 or soon thereafter, because I know a few other shows are coming on. I lost about 10 minutes trying to tap into the Wi-Fi. I was having problems, but yeah. If not, I'll catch you on the next one. Be safe and be safe in that traffic. Bye. Mets. The Mets had Darryl Strawberry, Howard Johnson, Kevin McReynolds, Ray Knight, Rafael Santana, Kevin Elser, Mookie Wilson, Ron Darling, Randy Myers ended up coming. John Franco, Jesse Orosco, Dwight Gooden. Let's see. Cubs had Ryan Sandberg, Andre Dawson. A little bit later, Mark Grace came. Steve, I say his name, Steve Buechele. Steve Buechele. Greg Maddux was there. Let's see. Orioles had Cal Ripken Jr. What was his name? Randy Mulligan, I think. Houston had Glenn Davis at first base. They had Nolan Ryan, Mike Scott. Right? Yeah, and then a little bit later, Bagwell came and Biagio, Craig Biagio came. Nolan Ryan left to join Texas, the Rangers. He left Houston Astros. Let's see. Boston Red Sox had Roger Clemens, Bob Stanley, Oil Can Boyd, Mike Greenwell, Todd Benzinger, Ellis Burks. That was Boston. A's had Canseco McGuire, Dave Henderson, Ricky ended up coming back, Dave Parker, Don Baylor, Ron Hussey, Terry Steinbach, Walt Weiss, Mike Gallegos, Tony Phillips, Dave Stewart, Bob Welch, Mike Moore, Rick Honeycutt, Dennis Eckersley, Carney Lansford went to school with my sister's dad in Santa Clara, California. How about them mighty Dodgers, though? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, Carney Lansford went to Wilcox High School in Santa Clara. Let's see. That was the A's. That was the Blue Jays had Jesse Barfield, George Bell, Fred McGriff, Dave Stieb, Tom Henke, Jimmy Key, Pat Borders was a little bit later. Ed Sprague was a little bit later. Let's see. Lloyd Mosley. You don't know about the mighty Dodgers? Nope, really don't. Nolan Ryan can still throw a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Can he? That's a lot because he's like 7 years old, 70s probably. Let's see. The Rangers had Ruben Sierra. Let's see, the Texas Rangers, 19. That was another one. Ruben Sierra came out in 1986 as well. Ruben Sierra. Juan Gonzalez came out what 90? I think it was 89, 90. Yeah, Jose Guzman was also 86. Rangers, Texas Rangers. Who else do they have? Val Rodriguez. I'm talking more like 87, 88. Man, I'm losing my mind. I'm going blank on that one. Texas Rangers. Let's see. You had the already named Boston Yankees, A's. I remember the Indians later on. They ended up having they had a nice squad with Joey Bell, Albert Bell, Kenny Lofton, Carlos Baerga, Jim Thome was there. They had a squad. bad squad for a minute. Yeah, Pudge. I named Pudge, but I said Pudge came out a little bit later. I'm talking because I think Juan Gonzalez came out as 89 or 92. I'm talking about between like 80. I'm talking about like 88. Charlie Huff was there, Texas Rangers, Ruben Sierra, uh, Jose Guzman. Cardinals had Ozzy Osbourne, excuse me, Ozzy Osbourne, Ozzy Smith, Willie McGee, Vince Coleman. Uh, I remember one of those years they came out with a. Every year baseball they would come out with a like for Fleer and Tops they would come out like with the I can't remember the name of the set, but basically it was like any trades that were done in the during the season they would come out with the cards. I remember they came out with for the Cardinals it was a Tim Horner card and a Tom Bernansky card, and they were with both with the Cardinals I think. It was like a update, Fleer up. Yeah, one was called Fleer update. I think one the Tops was the Tops had a name too, and it was just those two. Donruss didn't do it. Upper Deck didn't do it. Not at that time. Actually, I don't even know if Upper Deck was out yet. Well, Upper Deck came out in '89, right? That's the rookie card for Ken Griffey. Sheffield was also a rookie. What I'm gonna do too is Ozzy was a base stealing maniac. Ozzy Smith, Vince Coleman was over there. Cardinals. It was Vince Coleman leading the league in the National, and Ricky was the American League leader. Known for his on his his glove. Uh, I already named the Braves, the Cardinals, the Mets. Well, the Red Sox had just before that those guys Greenwald and Bill Buckner, obviously, Jim Rice, Darrell Evans, Dwight Evans. No, excuse me. Darrell Evans was not in Boston. Darrell Evans was in Detroit with Jack Morris and them guys, Kirk Gibson. But originally he was on the Giants with Jack Clark in the 80s. And Jack Clark was on that Cardinals team with Ozzie Smith and all those guys. Lee Smith, Terry Pendleton. Tony wants an apartment, and really he wants a car. Rasa Food. Damn, Lou, how did retain all this, bro? I could never really get into like that. You even remember other teams? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's baseball. I can do that with basketball and football, boxing too. Yeah. It is what it is. I guess it's just like with anybody else that people that were stay on top of foods, different type of foods, calories, the stock market, cars, uh, different, it's just like a hobby or whatever, I guess you could say. That's right. I was thinking of his car. Yeah, Vince Coleman was the one. Yeah, and then Vince Coleman left the Cardinals, and then I think he went to the Mets. And then that was it. I didn't really hear from, at least Willie McGee from the Cardinals. He ended up playing for the Giants. He played for the A's. He still had a decent. He still was producing for the Giants and the A's. He still was doing pretty good. Oh, I didn't mention when I was talking about the Giants, Brett Butler. Brett Butler was in center field. Brett Butler was a pretty good leadoff hitter. And I think Brett Butler played for the Dodgers too before that, or it might have been after that. That's right, bro. Cool shit. I'm from San Jose, but I reside in the 209. Okay, that's what's up. I'm in the 209 right now. Yeah, there's a few. Timo DeVille was here. I think Timo's from San Jose. and just chilling from East Los, Fish Slayers from down south as well. But I like, that's what's up. A lot of the subscribers that come into the chats will be, at times, like last week I did a live. I did my first live after coming back from being sick. I had somebody from a couple from Canada in the chat. I had one of the subs from uh, Australia, a whole bunch of different parts and areas of United States. You know what I mean? That's what's cool about the internet. How you can just reach out and be in contact with people from other countries. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, I had Joe De La Mura was in there too. He's England. Yeah, England. He's Italian that lives in England. The one from Australia, he's also Italian, but he's out of Australia. You know what I mean? Yes. And then the Canadian was also Italian, but from Canada. So it's and then there's two other guys that follow us from Canada. One is Iraqi, but out of Canada, and the other one is Portuguese out of Canada. So that's cool. You know what I mean? Uh, and I was on a live the other night with Big Weeby. I don't know if you guys heard of Big Weeby, but if you haven't, go check him out. Go tap into him, give him a sub, like and share his channel. He'll do lives. He does a lot of shorts. Uh, he does pre-records as well. And also on there was Breaking. It used to be called Breaking Fetters Grove. Somehow I guess it got locked out of his channel, and now it's just called Breaking Fetters. Joey, he's from California, Southern California, San Fernando Valley, but he resides now in Florida. We were having some good conversations, big boy conversations, and it's cool. It's just cool to do all that. But sometimes you get people that come in and they're not really serious. When they come in and talk and shit, they're not really that serious about what's being discussed. A lot of times it takes away, or it takes away, and at least or at least it'll at least keep the conversation down for a little while until we can get going. And what we were talking about was like women that raise their kids. It's obviously that's a good thing. The man's not involved, but sometimes they need that man. They need to see the man doing things in order for them to learn things, or it takes the man to teach them, like to shave, stuff like that. And the women that were in his chat at the time didn't take to that too well, and they left the chat. And it wasn't nothing. He was disrespecting them or nothing. He was just telling them how his grandma raised him and how he was, where he needed to, he was yearning or whatever, fiending for that father figure, however you want to state it. You know what I mean? My top 5 players in the 80s: Don Mattingly, Ricky Henderson, Johnny Bench, Cal Ripken, and George Brett. Johnny Bench was still playing in the 80s? No, I think no, he was gone already. But the rest of them, I mean, even Johnny Bench, he's one of the greats too, no doubt. That's a good list though. My list from the 80s would be Canseco, Darryl Strawberry, Eric Davis. I would say Andre Dawson, Dale Murphy, Will Clark, Ricky Henderson. I used to like Don Mattingly a lot. Yeah, easy. Those are. So, anyways, yeah. So you guys check those channels out. Doing Time with Big Weeby. And he don't really. It's not like Doing Time where it's like a prison channel, because I don't. He's never even been to prison, but he tells some of his stories. Of him getting in trouble young. Some little things that he did a little bit of time for, but majority of majority of his stuff is like a lot of shorts. Maybe Charleston White, Joey Diaz, things like that. But I enjoy his company. Fetters Grove, Breaking Fetters. I mean, excuse me, Joey did 13 years in the California Department of Corrections. But like I said, he lives now in Florida with his wife. No longer with the criminal activities, things like that. I catch a lot of lives, bro. I don't chat much though. I usually just click the live, let it play, and listen to conversation. Yeah, a lot of people do that. That's what's up. But over the time, you start meeting the different people in the chats, and a lot of times, and I'm not gonna lie, a lot of times you go and uh, when you go into chats, a lot of times you're not even tripping off the content or a person's channel anymore. You're there to say hello, just hello to the people in the chat. You know what I mean? I caught myself doing that in a couple channels, and but yeah, I hear you. Yeah, okay, Johnny Bench in '83. Yeah, because I think Johnny Bench came out and he was part of the Red Machine with George Foster and Pete Rose and let's see who else was there. I don't think Tony Perez was there yet. He might have been. Yeah, no, Tony Perez was there. I was thinking of Tony Armas, Tony Perez, George Foster, George, Johnny Bench, Joe Morgan, Pete Rose, and then what's the name? Just I want to say Frank Robinson just missed it a few years because he was in Baltimore by then with Brooks Robinson and Jim Palmer. Um, but definitely, like I said, don't get me wrong. That's a heck of a list that you got there too, though. You know what I mean? Um, but Don Mattingly was Mr. I think did he go by Mr. Baseball? Don Mattingly? I forgot what his nickname was, but he ended up hurting his. I think it was his back, and that's when everything went down for him. But those numbers that he was producing up until he got injured was definitely going to put him in the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? He had a good thing going there. Um, but some of the things that were broke when I was a kid was a youngster and into baseball was Canseco with the 40-40 in 1988, 42 home runs, 40 stolen bases. Uh, was George Brett? I remember George Brett batting 390 one season. I also remember the pine tar incident when they recalled the home run he hit. I remember 5,000 strikeouts by Nolan Ryan, the 7 no hitters by Nolan Ryan. Matter of fact, I don't remember what feature. I think it was the 5,000 strikeout. He got that on Ricky Henderson. You know what I mean? So Thindu said something earlier in his live about, or actually Drew Haas said something, and Drew Haas is a Boston Red Sox fan, but he said he hopes Boston. He said he hopes Boston pitches to Aaron Judd, and then Thindu said, yeah, well, I think he said it was when Mickey Mantle hit 500 home runs. I can't think of the dude from the Tigers, but the Birdman dude. He said that well, at least I'm in the record books. I pitched him his 500 home run, so it still puts your name in the record books, even though it's more on the opposite end. But like with Ricky Henderson, I believe if he didn't get the 5,000, he was Nolan Ryan's 5,000 victim, right? Or he got him out to get that 7th no hitter. I forgot which one it was. And then if you guys remember, he hit Robin Ventura, third baseman for the White Sox, and he came running out there, and the old man Nolan Ryan just handled him. Because I think Nolan Ryan's a cattle rancher. So just think about some of the things he has to use his back arms and forearms for. You know what I mean? The thing he hit is 389 home run on the night he retired. That's nice. See, that's cool. That's like retiring as a boxer, as a champion, or whatever sport you're in, and you go out last game and you won that NBA Finals, that ring, or you won the Super Bowl, or you won the World Series. That's what's up. That's a good feeling. Definitely, Johnny Bench is one of the greatest catchers. You got Yogi Berra, Johnny Bench, Thurman Munson. I think his life got cut short, so he wasn't really too much in the talk for that. But you got Roy Campanella. You got Elston Howard, Mickey Cochran, way back in the day. Birdman, yeah, Mark the Birdman Fit. I don't know how to pronounce that last name, but yeah, Thindu said that he gave up the 500 home run against Mickey Mantle. I'm not sure about if that's true, but also remember when I was a kid, Ricky Henderson breaking the record for the most stolen bases in a season. He broke Lou Brock's record for that. I think it was like 130. And then he also broke Lou Gehrig's record of 900, and I think it was 939 total stolen bases. Ricky broke that. Also, Ricky has the record for the most leadoff home runs. You had Mark McGwire. Like I said, he broke in 1987. He broke Frank Robinson's record for the most home runs hit by a rookie with 38. McGwire hit 49. I was 87. Who has the record for home runs right now? What in a season or total? It's the same guy, Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds has 762 total home runs, and he has 73 that he hit in 2001. And he broke Mark McGwire's record of 70 that he set in 98. Also remember, let's see. Barry Bonds, all time, 762. And he broke Hank Aaron's record of 755. So I started off, so I guess we can recap. So the video is titled, Let's Talk Baseball, whatever, and a couple of guys that are going to be making history shortly here. So as of right now, he plays for the New York Yankees. Aaron Judd has 60 home runs. Okay, he tied Babe Ruth with 60 home runs, and he's one off from tying the all-time record for Yankees for the most home runs hit by a Yankee. Roger Maris hit 61 home runs in 1961. That's 61 years ago. Was a rookie in 76. Man, I'm retired at 69. Yeah, so yeah, I wasn't sure. So, like I said, Aaron Judd already made history by tying Babe Ruth. There's only been 3 Yankee players in history to hit 60, at least 60 home runs or more. And thus far, it's Babe Ruth with 60, Aaron Judd, who's playing right now, with 60, and Roger Maris with 61. So as soon as he tires Roger Maris, he'll be, making history. And when he passes him, he's going to make history. Now, going, I'm not sure how much time still left in baseball, how many games are left. But if he keeps going, he can tie McGwire with 70 and past that, and he can either tie and break Barry Bonds with 73, which is the record. So as of right now, he's 13 home runs shy of tying the all-time record and 14 shy of breaking it. I don't know how many games are left, but, do they take some home runs away from Bonds when he got caught? No, they ain't took no home runs away from Bonds. So that's history right there. Then Albert Pujols, he has 698 home runs. He needs 2 more to hit 700. There's only been 3 guys in Major League Baseball history to have 700 or more home runs. Barry Bonds was 762. Hank Aaron was 755. And Babe Ruth was 714. And then Albert Pujols, if he gets there. And then 600, at least 600 or more home runs. You got the 4 guys I just said there. Bonds, 762. Aaron, 755. Babe Ruth, 714. Albert Pujols, so far he has 698, excuse me. A-Rod has 696. Then you have Willie Mays with 660. You got Ken Griffey with 630. You got Jim Thome with 612. And you got Sammy Sosa with 609. So it's a big, huge accomplishment to hit 700. So those are the 2 main guys I started off the video talking about. And then also I referenced what's his name? Cabrera from the Miguel Cabrera from the Tigers. He has currently 504 home runs, and he has 3,081 hits, and he's Venezuelan. First Venezuelan to hit 500 home runs, first Venezuelan to hit 3,000 hits, and he also the last guy to win the Triple Crown was in 1967. He was a Boston Red Sox player. Carl Yastrzemski, Yaz, aka Yaz. He won the Triple Crown in 1967. Triple Crown means you led the league in batting average, in home runs, and RBIs. And it took 45 years to for another person to come along and do that, and that was Miguel Cabrera with the Tigers in 2012. They ended up going to the World Series, but the Giants beat them. And since then, it hasn't happened again. So in 55 years, only one guy's done it, and it was him. Uh, huge, huge, for the country of Venezuela, because most Latin players were either Puerto Rican, Cuban, Dominican, really Puerto Rican and Dominican. There was a few Cubans that came along, like Canseco and Palmero. There's been a lot more lately. And back in the day when they had the Negro leagues, there was a lot. And then more way back when, Minnie Minoso and Manny Mota and guys like that. There's a lot more way back in the day. What up, Wendy? You know what I mean? So there's been a lot over the years. And for the Venezuelan, there's a lot of Venezuelans now that play, but this guy's a trailblazer. Well, I mean, back in the day, you had Tony Artemas played for the Angels, and then you had I think Dave Concepcion was also Venezuelan, and then you had Omar Vizcael, you had Ozzie Guillen. There's another Venezolano I'm thinking about. I'm trying to remember who it is. Let's see. Dave Concepcion. Or it might be Bert Campaneris for the A's. Ooh, people are lurking in the bushes. What the hell? But anyways, folks, I've been on a little bit, just over an hour. It's 4:36. I see Angel just came on, and I know a lot of other people are coming on. So that was my intention, was to come on for an hour and 15 minutes. But I had problems with the Wi-Fi, so I pushed back about 10 minutes. But I'm content with it. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. Like always, you guys are awesome. Tim Hennessy, what up? Yankees for life, Wendy's, Tim Hennessy, Facts Over Feelings, Rastafu, Aldo Vanucci. What else we got here? Tino DeVille, Fish Slayer, Just Chilling. I said Yanks, right? Yankees for life, but Westy, there we go. Farmero. Yep, appreciate it. Oh, that I messed up. Yeah, so that's where we're at with that. I know the game's coming on. People are looking forward to see if he cracks out a few more home runs. You know what I mean? Like I said, he has 60. Tied Babe Ruth. Trying to get him to get past Roger Maris with 61 to tie that 61 mark. If he goes over past 61, he's got the Yankees all-time record for single season home runs. Yankees, I'm going to Rangers. Yankees game next month. Our company owns a suite and treats us once a year. That's nice. That's what's up. Everybody hit the like on the way out the door. Yep, everybody hit the like on the way out the door. And again, I appreciate everybody for tapping in. As always, Facts Over Feelings, you live in Dallas. Dallas. Yeah, so again, like I said, I appreciate everybody for tapping in. I'm having the issue. I did it. I was trying to drop a video from a couple of days ago, and it's not taken for some reason. I tried to do it again. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I said something. YouTube's not pushing through. Maybe I'll try to re-record it. It's just something pro wrestling too. Trip. Anyways, I dropped a video yesterday or day before about the Blade Runners, which was Sting and the Ultimate Warrior. They used to be tag team partners. I got another video coming out about old school tag team partners of wrestling that became big stars later on that people don't even know that they were tag team partners. I also got one that I'm gonna be getting ready to drop about wrestlers that were football players before. Most of them were pro football players. There are a couple in there that were just college, and then also one was a baseball player, and then became a wrestler. And yeah, I got a lot of things in the works. Also, if you haven't already, go check out the centers video I did on my top 10 centers of all time. That completed the 5-part series for the 5 positions. Also, if you're watching this, coming to the channel for the first time, I know none of you guys, but later on somebody might watch it. That's you know, after it's already been dropped, after I recorded it. The first time coming to the channel, what to do with Big Lou, NFZR2. Be sure to sub, like, and subscribe, and also go to the original channel, the No Fly Zone Ricans, and sub, like, and share there. Always feel free to leave comments. I answer all the comments. And the No Fly Zone will be on Monday. It's official. Nelson dropped a clip video saying so. So we'll be on Monday at 7:45, which is Eastern time. So if you guys anybody lives in California, that's 4:45. That's this Monday the 26th. We'll be back on. You know. So again, appreciate everybody. Big Lou tapping out.